The color theory is popping off. On June 3rd, 2009, Poptropica's hardest island yet was released for players with memberships. Every Poptropican got access on June 10th, 2009, and I dare say, it rocked our world. Let's start with something that may be obvious, but perhaps not as obvious, more like hidden in plain sight. In the New Order's dungeon and in the princess's room, there are posters of constellations on the wall. These appear to be deconstructed parts of what is probably the most famous constellation, Ursa Major. Speaking of, by Poptropica's standards, this island has a major reliance on the Latin language. The text below the sign that reads "Welcome to our tourists" says "Semper superne nitens." This roughly translates to "always shining above," foreshadowing, or dare I say foreshining, the fact that part of the kingdom of Arcturus is present in outer space. The book that tells the player about Mordred reads "Avarus animus nuio satiatur lucro," roughly translating to "a greedy mind is not satisfied with any gain." What a diss. In another book about Mordred, this time written by the inventor himself, he writes that he discovered that MaWHOure serves as a powerful energy source, which is true. In fact, a year's worth of manure from a cow can give the same amount of energy as 140 gallons of gasoline. According to the United States Department of Energy, the average amount of miles per gallon consumed by each vehicle is 25, which means that if you save up a year's worth of manure from a cow, then you could travel about 3,500 miles for free, minus the cost of the cow and its maintenance, of course. I'm sure it will pay off. Also, Mordred really is something, because the idea of using manure as an energy source was not discovered until the 1800s, while Astro nights likely took place in the 1100s, evidenced by the presence of nights, which were definitely phased out by the 1800s. In regard to farms, this guy just loves cornmeal for some reason, which makes sense because in medieval times it was an important crop, as it is here in Arcturus. However, his version of corn is not ours. The actual corn crop was not available in medieval Europe. The term corn at this time referred to grain, until the maize or corn crop was transported there from America. As mentioned before, the Latin language of this island rages on Mordred, but this robot prisoner we find in the dungeon seems a little more loyal. When you interact with him, he says, and I quote, 011-00010-011-00001-011-10010-011-10010-000. This is a language called binary, and this specific sentence translates to the word bard. Hear ye, hear ye. You are not the only one that's confused. I think I'm the only one that's confused. Mordred is the binary bird, right? But Poptropica does not really explain that. It's merely suggested by their matching attire, color scheme, and the fact that Mordred is the only Poptropican in space who is not a knight or a player. Now, to their credit, it seems that Poptropica did intend to explain that Mordred is binary bard, but for whatever reason, the cutscene that put everything together was not included in the game. As you can see on screen, not only is Mordred responsible for those heinous space sharks and Arctic metallic fish, but Mordred's experiments caused him to become half cyborg, and he gets Poptropicans to retrieve the weapons of Arcturus for him. Yes, everyone, his laziness was indeed his downfall. Speaking of, the Weapons of Arcturus guidebook has missing pages that are not officially in the game, and these pages speak of unknown characters and highlight the importance of the relationship between humans and animals. The last thing I have about language is a bit of an expose on the term ye olde. Turns out ye olde, as in ye olde rumor mill, is considered to be fake Old English. Even though you have seen this phrase associated with things that date back to the 1100s or 1200s, the term ye olde came to be in the 1800s to market things from medieval times. This is pure deception, just like this fake princess. I can't even lie, I thought something was up. I didn't trust her, but it seems that we didn't have a choice but to trust her. The only reason I was suspicious is because of her attire. Notice how Mordred's brand is based on the complementary color scheme purple and yellow, while the king and queen's color scheme is red and the princess's dress is green, another set of complementary colors. Purple represents royalty and rarity, while yellow often represents innovation or caution. I would say that a half man, half cyborg is pretty rare. And purple complements binary bard because of his desire to become king or royalty within the universe. Meanwhile, the color yellow yellow attests to his genius and innovation. I mean, he technologically transformed this entire kingdom. The color yellow, however, simultaneously warns the player of the danger associated with him. But is he really dangerous? He did a lot for the kingdom. Yes, his experiments were questionable, but one of his original ones everyone was worried about literally saved the princess's life. Binary Bard only became evil after he was exiled. Yes, he became like extremely evil after this. Like he's literally a supervillain, but it seems prompted, not inherent. I say this especially because you notice how the king, queen, and the throne room are mostly red, while the princess is the only member of the royal family who wears green. Red and green is a color scheme often used to depict evil versus good, respectively. Mind how the princess is wearing green and she associated herself with Mordred, and even after he was defeated, she repaired Merlin, and the royal family is adorned in red, which represents evil in this case. Isolating somebody after they help you improve your kingdom to such a great extent is kind of evil. I think that there are some undertones here, physically and literally. Every other villain in Poptropica has just been pure evil, at least as far as I know, but Binary Bard / Mordred seems more misunderstood. The books weren't very clear, but I feel like there could have been some negotiations or something before they kicked him out. But hey, who am I to say? I'm just an island visitor, as always. Now for the common room, the crop circle inn, which are crops planted and then flattened into intricate circular patterns. These are very popular in England and are sometimes cited as signs of alien life, partially because of their accurate geometric precision, which relies on a high vantage point. And you have to think, the first crop circles showed up in 1678. It's not like they could just, have a really tall ladder or climb up on the king's castle or just get an airplane or a drone or something to oversee the shape of the crop circles, so it makes sense that people think aliens made these. Especially because, look on screen, look at how accurate and precise they are. With all of this aside, the name of the common room is very fitting. As for the fact that the common room is an inn, come on, name one medieval town that does not have an inn. I'll wait. Inside the inn, there are a lot of paintings on the wall, but I want to draw your attention to this one, which parodies a painting called The Arnolfini Wedding by Jan van Eyck. This painting is famous because of a mirror in the background, which seems to reflect an unknown figure. Some have said it is the artist Van Eyck himself, and some have said that it is intended to be a reflection of the viewers of the painting. It is unfortunate that, like Binary Bard, the intention behind the mirror in this painting is misunderstood, perhaps forever. I actually happen to know someone else who is misunderstood. I present to you The Subject in the Scream by Edvard Munch. Everyone thinks he is screaming because of the title of the painting, but he is not. His mouth is just open, and the title of the scream refers to the idea that this bright red sky, which represents the changing times in the historical context of this painting, personifies a scream. I hope to see you and this painting next week in Counterfeit Island. Thanks for watching!